Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. And I've said this before, but I'm now on the other side of things, and so I want to talk about it again. But I don't like doing client work. Never have. It bothers me to. I just don't like doing uh, what's it called? Commissioned work. That's what I'm going to call it. I've never enjoyed it. And I think for me as a self-identified creative person, I like to do things my way, and I don't want to be told how to do things when it comes to my personal creations. There's a big difference, I think, between a creative thing and like industrial or a work related thing, right? Those are two different things. I don't mind being told how to do my job. I don't mind being told that we need this to work and we need it, we need this thing and here's how I want it to look and here's how I want it to behave. That's fine, right? And I could kind of get away with that if clients were in creative endeavors, say woodworking. Say if somebody came to me and said, I want you to make a coffee table, have at it, whatever you want to make. I could do that. I'd be like, oh, cool, yeah, let's do that. I can make coffee tables, and without having any expectation placed upon me for that coffee table, I could complete that work successfully. But if they said, I want you to make me a coffee table, it needs to be exactly this size, I want 3 drawers, I want the handles to be this, I want you to use this type of joinery technique, and then I'm just like, I'm out. Like, do it your damn self. If you know all of the things, why don't you do it? I don't feel like doing it for you. I'm not going to do the work just because you don't feel like doing the work yourself when you apparently have all of the knowledge, right? And so on top of all that, I don't like being a disappointment. Or I shouldn't say I don't like it. I mean, nobody likes being a disappointment, right? I fear being a disappointment. I know the other day when we joked about ChatGPT doing episodes that I said my biggest fear was my children getting hurt, but I think my biggest fear in reality is being a disappointment. I'm scared to death of being a disappointment. I don't want to disappoint people. And so when somebody says, "Will you make me this thing?" in my mind, they have asked me to create them a piece of heirloom perfection. And if I cannot deliver a piece of heirloom perfection, I just won't deliver. Like, I'm not going to give you a substandard thing when you ask me to create for you. And that's a hurdle that I've been struggling with, and I've come to accept that people, when they say, will you make me this, they're not asking for me to make them heirloom perfection. They're asking me to give it a go, right? And if there's flaws, that's okay. Like, that's just part of the process. A few months ago, actually many months ago, M's dad asked me if I could recreate a small cap that broke on his. I thought it was a tractor. It's not. It's actually a generator. It's an oil cap, and it broke, and it's literally unfindable. It's on a very old piece of equipment that is no longer manufactured, and there's just literally nobody who makes this cap. And he said, do you think we could 3D print this thing? And I said, yeah, I think so. Like, it doesn't, it's a kind of a locking cap, but there's no major stresses that I could see on this piece. And I thought, yeah, I think a resin, like a resin printer could hold up to this. I said, I know a guy who has this technology. I was wrong about that. But I said, if I can model it, we can do it. So he gave it to me. I think I have my drawings somewhere. I tried to model this thing. I took detailed measurements with calipers, all that sort of stuff. I could not get the model to be right. There were so many facets and things that I did not have the technical skill to model this thing accurately. I tried for a little while. I also discovered that the person that I thought had a resin printer does not, and I do not think this thing would have worked with an FDM printer. But I was talking to a friend, and he told me about his friend who is like like a 3D artist. Like, that's not his job. It's just what he does. And I was like, whoa. If I said, I have this thing. Do you think he could make it? If I can give him a model, or he's like, he can probably do the modeling and stuff for you. And I was like, oh, that's even better. And so this was like over the summer. I gave him this cap. It's just a little piece of plastic. I still haven't gotten it back. Not that I've said, I need this next week. I just said, give it to him and see if he can do something with it. And from my perspective, it's been all these months to fix this cap. I think I understand, right? Like I have been the person you've had to come to 12 times and ask about it, because I have procrastinated to death on it, because I'm afraid of disappointing you. And so now, being on the other side of that coin, going, I know this guy is just trying to make something that is exactly what I asked for, but really what I asked for was something that might work. It doesn't even have to, it doesn't have to work. If he tries and it doesn't work, that's no big deal. We'll figure something else out. But I feel like, in his mind, I have asked him to create this perfect replacement piece. And that's not what I've done at all. And so he's procrastinating, or he's taking on his own projects and doing his own things because he knows how to do those things. And this thing is this client said, can you do this for me? And, it's frustrating from both sides of the coin, right? It's frustrating because I don't know what the final result of this, if this will ever resolve. I messaged recently and said, hey, can I get this thing back? Just wherever it's at. And the message I received was, well, it's covered. Like, the 3D printing wasn't going to work. So he's tried to repair the thing, like by sculpting new pieces where the broken pieces were onto the original cap, and then cast a mold of it and pour it in like acrylic resin or something like that, which is a technique that I was like, I can do that. Like, I think that was the method I was going to go when I couldn't get the 3D printing to work. But I feel for the guy, right? I really do. I really don't want him to feel pressured. Like, dude, you can just say, listen, this is not something I'm interested in doing. No hard feeling. Don't care at all. Like, totally don't care. M's dad doesn't care. He's very easygoing about this sort of thing. But it's really put into perspective my own hang-ups when it comes to doing stuff like that for somebody. You just got to let it go, right? And just do what you can. And if it's not perfect, I did what I could, I don't know. One of those things I need to learn. So there are obviously people who don't have those hang-ups, and I don't know how. I don't know how. I have received things, I have seen things where the movies, television shows, where the outcome is obviously not good to anybody who's ever observed it. That sculpture or that art or that movie or that whatever, that thing that you purchase in the store that is just so subpar, it's obviously bad to everybody. But they just did it anyway. Like, I just did what I did. Like, there it is. That's what I got. I have to learn how to do that. That's got to be something that I can force into myself. Are you able to do that? Are you able to just be like, here's my best shot. It sucks, but it's what you get. I am not. I really struggle with that. So anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is palindrome. It is a noun meaning a word or sentence that reads the same forwards and backwards. In private school, Evelyn learned about palindromes, including Madam, I am Adam. Palindrome, P-A-L-I-N-D-R-O-M-E. I always thought that it was kind of a miss that palindrome is not a palindrome.